Hello everybody, it's the Goddess of Fire here, back for another fire conversation. Thank you for joining me. I know it's been a hot minute since I have actually filmed a tarot reading, and that's just because life has been throwing me some serious shifts and changes, and I have been honoring myself and allowing myself the time to really adjust to these changes. I was recently engaged, started a new job. So, yeah, just kind of letting the dust settle on those things. But hot topic today is the full moon in Leo, which is happening right now. I am filming for this on the day of January 28th and can kind of carry over to January 29th. So a lot, I feel like, has kind of been floating around. I haven't really had the opportunity to be as spiritual and as tapped in as I would like to be, but I definitely was getting the poke from my guides as I experienced some things, and I'll get to that in a minute, that just needed to be talked about, touched on, and yeah, so the energy just feels really rough or like slightly abrasive. I definitely have been experiencing that in some of my day-to-day like interactions with individuals that are close to me, as well as strangers. um yeah, so if you've been experiencing that, just know that it's the moon. Blame it on the moon. We also have Mercury acting up as well. He's about to go retro in a couple days, so you're probably feeling a lot of that energy as well. But definitely a lot of emotions are flowing. Um, I had the mental image of what I could only describe as the ego versus the soul, kind of engaging in a tug of war, so to speak, over releasing deeper seated issues, such as trauma. But it really, really feels like a lot of inner child and shadow work happening. And that's part of the reason why I'm filming this video right now, is I definitely was having a bit of an emotional breakdown just a bit ago, and I just cried for about 30 minutes, and it felt as if I literally was releasing some things that I never got the chance to be upset about, never got the chance to mourn, never got the opportunity to be angry about. Um, and this was definitely just a lot of heart happening, and it did feel like a lot of inner child stuff for me personally. So we're definitely doing a big cleanse on our lower three chakras, and that's going to be your root, your sacral, and your solar plexus. Um, and that all of those things come through the heart. So I have to bring attention to the fact that Venus is conjunct, and conjunct is just a fancy word of within 0 degrees of another planet. So Venus is conjunct Pluto right now. And Venus is the goddess of love, the planet of love, sensuality, beauty, things of that nature. And Pluto is kind of the hidden pieces of ourselves, that the shadows, um, things that we're not always so readily able to talk about or want to talk about, reveal, or shed any light on. So that's where we're feeling all of these increases in energy happening. This is really the driving force of this deep-seated healing, and it's coming from / through the heart chakra. That is how we experience most of our healing, is through the heart chakra. That is our center point as far as our 7 main chakras are concerned. And it feels to me like a lot of people have had their lower 3 blasted wide open, which is creating it's like I'm getting the mental picture of floodgates being opened. and it's just all rushing up to the surface, and it can kind of be a little bit messy. There could be a lot of tears happening, and if you're not comfortable with crying, it could be, misguided anger that's coming to the surface. So I just wanted to touch on that. I'm going to pull a few oracle cards to just kind of give us an idea of what's really popping right now and what we need to be aware of. Electricity, wildness. And I'm going to bring attention to the fact that it looks like she's legit being shot through her heart chakra. So definitely feeling a lot of energy pulsating through your bodies. This is probably why a lot of us are having some issues sleeping. Unfortunately, when we aren't able to deal with things in our waking life, the mind, the spirit, the body, the soul kind of have a way of working that out in your sleep. So if you've been waking up feeling exhausted, if you've been waking up, multiple times a night, if you fall asleep but can't stay asleep, it's just because there's such a high flow of energy that's kind of coursing through everyone and everything. And then the joy. And there's a full moon in the background here. This is definitely, again, it feels like there's just a flow that's coming through the heart and creating a new sense of freedom. And I feel like I say that a lot, but when we release things that we've held on to for so long, like think about when, you have too many clothes and you decide to, I'm going to go through all my clothes one day and put some things aside for friends or put some things aside for donations. And you go back and you have just a more organized situation happening. That's very, very pleasing, right? So it feels to me that we are just kind of sorting some things out, reorganizing some things, and it may be happening whether we like it or not. But to me, this feels like a lot of, this is heart chakra is what I'm getting. And then from this one, this is really a lot of sacral energy flowing through. Sacral, it helps us with our creativity. It helps us with our flow. It helps us with our sensuality. And music is such a driving force for that. So if you've been feeling like you're drawn to new different types of music, that could be a soul-led experience. If you feel like you're just dancing a little bit more, I know myself today, I legitimately was dancing all day long at work, and it felt great. And so were my coworkers, and it was a very just, fun-loving, just childlike energy we were having. So I feel like there's definitely a bit more of a free flow that's happening right now. And I just got drawn to pull another one in magic, alchemy. This is definitely you working with the universe, acting and believing that you are in co-creation. We are the masters of our domains. We are the captains of our souls. So if there's something that we are experiencing or not experiencing in a way that we'd like to, we are in charge of that. If you don't want to be in a bad mood, you choose to be in a bad mood. You choose to see the negative instead of the positive. You choose not to pay attention to the silver lining. So this is really just working with the energy that's around you in a way that is best suited for you. It really is a energetic manipulation, is the words I just heard. It's like that quote where people say, don't match the energy in the room, influence the energy in the room. So it feels like to me that a lot of us are learning to influence as opposed to accepting things or bringing ourselves down a notch to to meet people where they stand. And if yeah, and it feels like if people are trying to knock you down a peg, it's almost like you will laugh at them, whether this is actually physically laughing in somebody's face or you are mentally just like, yeah, fucking right. But yeah, it's there's magic happening. There is a cosmic shift. And as I say that, hold your vision. Hold your vision. Literally hold your vision. You have the power to create. You have the power to change, shift, mold things as you see fit. I'm going to pull a couple more of these Moonology cards. Just match up what's happening here. So we actually got 4, and I'm going to take them. You and your loved ones are safe. I feel like this is something that is highly needed to hear. And then for some of you, because you are a protected being. Damn, okay. The answers you need are coming. This definitely feels kind of like a bit of that duality between the ego versus soul. Whenever we feel like we are confused or don't understand, we can't see the vision anymore, it's honestly because we are in the middle of a shift and your ego and your soul are fighting over who gets to drive, when in reality you need a driver, but you also need to get a navigator, right? And both jobs are highly, highly important to any serious trip, right? So instead of, your ego and your soul fighting over who gets the keys, we just need to figure out who's going to be best suited in which seat at which time. And again, that's coming back to that alchemy, learning the balance between your ego and your soul. Ego is not a bad thing. It has always been painted to be that way. But ego is just our human self, right? This is just the shell that we're in. And then the soul is, what is housed within this body, this human form of ourselves. It is a higher frequency, and it does have higher knowledge than what we do as humans. So sometimes the soul needs to be the driver and the ego needs to be giving the directions. Sometimes the ego needs to drive and the soul needs to be giving the navigation points. And I feel like there is coming to a point where you are able to identify and alchemize, make this magic happen. And then with this full moon card, surrender to the divine. This is us surrendering to the healing that is happening. Like I said, I just spent like 30 minutes crying over every possible moment. It felt like within my 32 years of life that I didn't feel loved, that my trust was broken by somebody who should have never broken it. My heart has been broken by people I had never imagined would break it, and I definitely got out a lot of pent-up sadness and just emotional overwhelm. It felt like very childlike crying, where you're just uncontrollable, you can't breathe, you can't see, snot dripping down your face just as much as your tears, and you just gotta let it all out, right? So surrender to the divine, surrender to releasing right now. That's what full moons are all about, is releasing. So just honor that energy. I am now going to move into some tarot cards to see what else we need to be going through. And I think I don't know how I'm gonna do this. Let's just do an emotional check-in. What are we feeling emotionally right now? Oh shit. Oh. Oh, the devil. We are definitely dealing with some darkness, some restrictive energy. But emotionally, with the Seven of Pentacles, we're wanting to see growth. We're wanting to move away from what we've always known. No matter how uncomfortable it may be, staying in the same place can sometimes be even more uncomfortable. Okay, okay, okay. Emotionally, it feels like we're a little bit out of balance and on guard with this Nine of Wands and the Justice card coming out. And I want to pull... hold on, let me just listen for a second here. Yeah, this Devil card is definitely pulling for that Pluto energy. For sure, that Venus conjunct Pluto, it's a lot of shadow work happening. And just really dredging up things that need to be cleansed. Yeah, and having the ability to reunite ourselves with ourselves. Oh my God, and choosing that. Wow. Damn, this is deep already. There's just a lot of effort that's being put into creating. Even through the pain, through this heart chakra awakening that's happening, this deep-seated cleanse, it feels like there's just a lot of heavy emotions burning through the heart chakra right now. And I say that not only because there's literal flames, but it just feels like that hot lava. It's like a dormant volcano. We always know lava is flowing but we forget about it until something that's dormant explodes through us. Wow. Now I want to see what we're feeling mentally right now with this full moon. This came out in reverse, and I'm going to take it that way. I just really had a mental struggle with that one because I didn't want to turn it around. But to me, this is just saying mentally we might feel a little bit out of control. And that's okay. Because we're still heading in the right direction. Whether we think so or not, we are still heading in the right direction. And just kind of coming out of a fog with our mental our choices right now is what this feels like. But this also definitely feels like you feel like your mind is kind of fucking with you. And that could be because there's a lot of things happening in dream state. And dreams are just so interesting because they don't look like what they mean. And I myself have been having a lot of weird ass dreams. But it's helping to bring some clarity to us all. Whether we realize it or not, it's happening. I want to get another card as to why we are feeling a little bit mentally out of control with this Emperor card in reverse. Okay, 2 popped out and flew, so give me a second here while I... It's because our feminine energy is taking over a little bit with this Empress card. And that is leaving our masculine energy to feel a little bit out of sorts. But mentally, we're on the path to some freshness. Legit, when I saw this card, it felt like a breath of fresh air just came over me. Like I'm inside my house, but it felt like somebody just opened a window right in front of my face and I got some fresh air. I want to know a little bit more about the 7 of Cups. Okay, these cards are jumpy. This is choosing an intuitive path. But also feeling a little stuck with direction a little bit. And that could be why we're feeling a little mentally out of control, is because we have all these ideas, but how do we create that? How do we put that into reality? But it's interesting because we're coming out of that energy with this 2 of Swords and moving into the Ace of Swords. So I want to find out what's giving us this mental clarity. What's giving this... Oh my God, that flew all the way across my fucking kitchen. Wow. Finding balance. Balance between the give and take of not only ourselves, but with others. And also just kind of mentally going back to a more simpler time. A feeling of nostalgia. This childlike energy is flowing. It's a balance between all things. Balance between emotions. Balance between, you know, our masculine and feminine. I feel like I say this all the time, but it really feels like there's a lot of us that are just going back to a simpler time mentally. You could be reliving some memories. And I know I've been going through this too, is, you know, thinking back on past friendships, past relationships, and, you know, having moments of where it's like, man, I really miss that person. You were such a best friend to me at that time. But also not wanting anything to do with them, because these relationships weren't always equal. So it just feels like you're kind of taking a mental inventory. Like I was saying earlier, it's just like kind of thinking back on times where you weren't fulfilled, thinking back on times where you were so giving and people just kept taking, going through times when you needed a hand up, a leg up, but there was no hand to hold. There was nobody to help you up. Man. Okay, so now let's take a look at what we're experiencing spiritually with this full moon. Okay. This is that alchemy energy. Hold the fuck up. Because we're swiftly moving away from feelings of like loss and not really crying over spilt milk. And I say this is the alchemy coming into play because you see here he has 2 cups. And these 2 cups have all that he needs to create something bigger and better. That's alchemy, man. Oh, come on. Are we gonna take these? I think we might. Oh, 2 more. Flew. Let me retrieve them. I'm trying to see where these kind of go in play. I hope these are all visible. And it's almost like we're at a pause, right? This is the calm before the storm, because 8 of Wands is a lot of big shifts happening, a lot of big movements happening. Because our spirit's no longer locked away. And because of this, it's allowing things to shift. With this Wheel of Fortune, things are turning in your favor. Spring is going to be very, very good for people this year. Those that believe it will see it. I want to get another card on this 5 of Cups. Yeah. Releasing the burdens from our past and taking with us what we want to see thrive. What's this pause with this 2 of Wands? What are we taking a pause for? A pause to reflect on past pains. To release. And working hard on releasing it. Tell me more about these big shifts. Okay, these are going to feel like they're coming out of nowhere with this Knight of Wands. And it could be that you will have to make some snap decisions, some impulsive decisions, if you want to see these manifestations that have been taking what seems like forever to really come to the surface, realized. And you'll know exactly when it happens, if it's right. Oh my God. Oh my God. The spirit's no longer locked away with all this openness. There's been such an illumination that's happened. The Sun is the happiest card in the entire deck. This is really just feeling blissful. This is a lot of healing that has transpired, and because of that, you're going to be rewarded with a new opportunity. This is, aces deal with newness, and pentacles are all 3D type things. And when I say 3D, it's jobs, it's businesses, it's homes, it's places where you are. You could be moving geographically too. And I'm being drawn to the squirrel, and I think I've said this before. It's like secret squirrel. Keep things close to you right now. Anything that you do not want to be tainted, tampered with, or somehow just fucked with by anybody else, do not say anything. Secret squirrel. Squirrels move in relative silence. We never know when it's, I mean, you do know, but we don't see the squirrels preparing for the winter. We do, but we don't. We don't know how many, like, you know, imagine you see a squirrel. You have no idea how many fucking nuts that squirrel has stored for himself. Why? Because it's a secret. He's quiet. He's stealth-like. And we can learn a lot from our squirrel friends. So stack your money quietly. Count your blessings quietly. There's nothing wrong with, you know, sharing joys, but there's certain things, and you'll know when right is right to share certain things, and you should know when there's certain things you should be, kind of keep close to you, keep to yourself. Because unfortunately, not everybody that is in our corner is for us. And hopefully you have nothing but trustworthy people in your life, or you have learned to just be very selective in who you share things with. It's definitely something that's important, because there's a lot of fortune coming your way. There's a lot of goodness coming your way. I'm gonna see what this Wheel of Fortune. This Wheel of Fortune has anything else to tell us. Okay. You're coming through to a phase where you are confident in your higher self, in your higher energy, your higher knowing, your intuition. Nothing can take that from you, because you have learned to balance, to alchemize. This temperance is all about alchemy. Yeah, I said it before. It takes a lot to temper a blade. You have to use the right amount of heat and the right amount of water to mold, to shape something into a perfect tool. And that tool is you. This is so fucking good. I can't. I haven't read cards in so long that sometimes I feel like I am not with the program. So I'm going to clear these out of the way and do some final guidance here with a couple of cards, because there's a lot of new doors that are opening for all of us. But there's also a lot of doors that are closing for us. So I just want to kind of take a moment to see what doors we may be opening. Heart healing. Morning now has had its time. Do not pay a single dime. Emerge from the darkness, a new day starts. Let light embrace the healing heart. Those are those heart chakra activations. You know, this Venus conjunct Pluto energy is drawing some of that darkness up into the light so that it can be released, transmuted. And then we're opening the door to intuition. You can see the doors. So hold on here. Did I not just say coming out of the darkness? I didn't even look at the fucking door. But if that's not perfect, I don't know what the fuck is. Because this looks like a fucking prison. Like you've been living in a prison. What the fuck, man? Okay, back to the intuition card. Simple, complex. Words of pain or words that Words of pain are words that heal. You come to know truth by the way it feels. I just said coming to a place where we're really trusting in our intuition. It's beautiful. See, ooh, one more door. Okay. Okay, we got that door. The nomad. The nomadic wanderer lies deep inside, so take the leap now. Don't crawl back and hide. This is really about emerging from the darkness, letting our light shine freely. I'm gonna switch this up a little bit because I'm gonna pull some other closing guidance cards. I'm such a perfectionist when it comes to the fucking the cards. It's annoying. All right, so for this heart healing, I'm gonna pull. Wow. Taking steps. Bitch. Does it not look like she could? Oh my God, you cannot make this up. I swear to God, this looks like she just came out of this. And this is what is waiting for her. She was stuck in a prison and she comes out to a goddamn fucking castle. A manor. I don't even know what that is, but it looks like a goddamn castle. This is insane. You can't make this up. But taking the steps to come out of the darkness, taking the steps to release some things that were hidden so deep, you didn't even know they were still there. So let's get a card for this intuition. Hold up. One of you fuckers just... Oh, no. This is... Excuse me. This is for the heart healing. Kindred partnerships. This doesn't necessarily have to be romantic, but this is definitely you coming in contact with kindred spirits. People that you just see and on sight, you're just like, I get you, you get me. We are seeing eye to eye. This is very Two of Cups energy. Okay, now can I have a couple cards for the intuition? Intuition, yeah. We're moving away from fear. That's all I could say to that, because honestly, it's like the moon card in the tarot deck. It can be about illusions and, you know, false ideas, but it's also about intuition, you know, that inner knowing. It's being drawn to our feminine energy a little bit more and trusting that. Man. And it's so perfect that it's right underneath that taking steps away from fear. Oh my God. Leaning on your higher self, your higher knowing, and presenting it in a powerful way. Yeah, you come to know truth by the way that it feels. And this is almost, I know this is two different cats, but this is almost really making me think of the Strength card. Very, very strongly. It's taming our inner beast, taming our inner fears, taming our ego, and allowing our intuition to be able to shine for us. This is beautiful. Okay. And then Nomad has the Angels of the Four Directions. This is us being led to what feels right. There's a lot of, it seems impossible, but there's a lot of travel coming for some of us. And discovery happening. And with the discovery, it's self-discovery. I'm going to pull one more. Okay. And that is also coming up with intuition and manifestation. We're going to be led to discover what we need to come in contact with, and this is people, places, things, energy, and it's all intuited. It's all intuited. Pay attention to your dreams. I know I say this all the time, but you are probably getting a lot of messages through your dreams that may not make sense right now, and that just kind of comes with the territory. Whenever we are faced with choosing to listen to something we are not always comfortable listening to, and that is our intuition. But there is a lot. You're going to be making a lot of choices this entire year, to be quite honest, that people who have been closest to you may think that you're losing your mind, that you're batshit crazy. Like, if you just decide to pick up and move somewhere that you've never been to, you don't know anybody in, people are going to be like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Why would you do that? What's for you there? And that's not up to them to know. That's between you, your spirit squad, your higher self, your intuition, and whoever you want to include with you on this journey to self-discovery and discovering your purpose and what gives you the juice, that fire. Man, I sincerely hope that this reading was eye-opening and helpful to you guys. I know this was a little bit of a long one, but like I always say, when spirit talks, I listen. Yeah, so please don't hesitate to comment, like, share, and subscribe, because I know that there's got to be somebody else in your life, within your inner circle, that you love, cherish, that could benefit from some of the messages that are channeled through me. I'm just so grateful for any of you and all of you that are listening. Until next time, my friends, toodaloo.